Hello, everyone. We are Sticks and Stones. The members of our team are James Wilden, Kyle West, Leonard Patterson, Matthew Mangold, and Tiffany Gill. The game. Snow Way in Hell is a fun side-scrolling platform set in the underworld. Once a year, Satan's minions are sent on a quest to the surface to gather snow and create a snowball. This snowball is placed inside a gift box that magically keeps it chilled all year round. The gift box is treasured by Satan as he enjoys the coolness that the snowball provides while in the fiery pits of hell. Unfortunately for him, this year's magically enchanted snowball doesn't want any part of that action. This little snowball makes a break for it. You have to help Snowball stay cool while he makes his way through the pits of hell and back to the surface.
The main vision of Snow Way in Hell to create simple game mechanics that would be intuitive enough for the casual player to learn, but present an ever-increasing challenge of the puzzle platform environments that would appeal to experienced platform players. In order to achieve this vision, we ultimately focused on three key features in this project. Make spectacular jumping combos. Making spectacular jumping combos. Allow the player to create a chain of time jump combos to get Snowball to traverse various environmental obstacles like fire and spike pits, wide gaps, and lava rivers. Throw snowballs to combat the devil's creatures and create steam. Our hero can throw snowballs into fire pits in order to create steam and float on it upwards. Also, throwing snowballs can be used as a defense to freeze enemies in their tracks. Snowball will continually melt throughout the game, and even more so when he takes damage. Replenish his health meter by consuming defeated enemies. Hi, I'm Kyle. My role for this was lead designer and game artist. I was in charge of building and animating the characters for our game. Once the drafting process was over, I took the character sheets and began building them in Maya. Once the characters were built to the way we wanted them, I began to build a skeleton for the animation process. With the skeleton in place, I animated them with the actions we had chosen earlier. Once these were done, I passed them on to Tiffany. I was also in charge of building the levels in our game. I drafted up each one on graph paper, then began building them in UDK. In order for us to make this as original as possible, I created all of the meshes that went into our levels. Adding lighting and materials and the meshes tied our levels together and created the overall feel of the game. One thing that I felt went right was once the meshes for the ground were built and placed into the levels, everyone began feeling more confident and comfortable about how the levels were going to play. Up to that point, we had been struggling with sizing the characters and the levels themselves, so everyone was wondering how it was all going to come together. But once the meshes were in place, the sizing took care of itself and everything started coming together for us. One of the things I felt went wrong was passing off our character builds and animations to somebody else. It was supposed to give us more time to work on other things that at the time were more important to get done, which it did, and we got them done, but in the end, only one of the characters we passed off got finished, and it became a rush to finish the others.
My name is James Wilden. My roles for this project were level designer and sound effects specialist. Sound engineering. From the beginning of this project, we knew we needed sound and music. Though the idea of both evolved as the project grew, it was obvious that these two things were important to our game. So throughout the second half of our project, I created several key sound effects we needed to really give Snowball and the enemies personality, and sound cues for our portals and checkpoints. I also spent time finding and setting up our music. I looked for music that would fit with Snowball's personality and that might pump the player up as he raced through the levels. All sounds were created and extensively modified with Audacity. All music was cleaned up and enhanced through the same program. Level design. Throughout our project, I would periodically help out with level design. Though not a huge part of my work, I fixed level design bugs as needed and set up things like kill zones. I changed layouts slightly if they proved to need modifying due to playtesting. I also set up all sounds tied in with checkpoints, portals, and zoning into levels through the use of Kismet. Playtesting and QA. Throughout our project, it was obvious we needed extensive playtesting. We were trying to take an FPS engine and force it to make a side-scrolling game. I led the charge in this department and spent many tireless hours playing each level, trying to find breaks in code and level design to report or fix myself if I was capable of doing so. I focused heavily on finding as many bugs and problems as possible with each build. We knew it was important to try to find and squash as many bugs as possible, even in part 1 of our project. What went right? One thing I feel that went right in our project was the music. The music gives the game a better atmosphere and helps to give, in my mind, Snowball a bit more personality. For some reason, when I hear the music, I have a feeling that Snowball is gearing up to really go all out. It feels epic to me. What went wrong? I would say one thing that went wrong with the project was the hard decision to get rid of our slide mechanic. It started out as one of our biggest mechanics and was something that even had animations built around it. Sadly, though, due to engine issues with UDK and problems with trying to script out the mechanic, it was eventually scrapped. There just was not enough time to try to fix it, and the levels evolved beyond the need for it.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Gill. In this project, my roles were game artist and level developer, concept art. As we planned the overall design of the maps, we tossed around ideas about the types of enemies that would be lurking in this environment. Based on those ideas, I created the concept art and design sheets for the characters. We kept the styling simple so that we could create the models and animations ourselves if need be. Custom character UDK integration. I worked closely with both the Full Sail game artist and our lead designer as they modeled and animated the custom characters. As the main point of contact, I was able to make sure that things were consistent with the design sheets, as well as serve as the liaison between them and the team. As the Maya files were completed, I imported them into UDK and finished their assets, as well as the animation code needed within their custom AI classes. Advanced Kismet systems. I was tasked with creating all of the Kismet systems for the major moving components in-game, as well as the gate trigger systems. This included the engine room's elevator system, the rotating platforms, and piston jump system. For example, I created a combination of delay randomizers to make sure that the player would get a slightly varied sequence of movements from the piston jump system with each playthrough. What went right? One thing that went right was each member's ability to come to the aid of another member when an issue arose. For instance, when I had issues with the custom characters and their animations not fully displaying in-game, I knew I could count on James to help me play test and pinpoint the problem, and then Matt helped me figure out possible scripting solutions. What went wrong? One thing that went wrong was the low availability of online help for custom character issues within UDK. A lot of the solutions I came up with were through trial and error, since most of the forum solutions were mostly geared towards older versions of the Unreal Engine.
Hi, my name is Leonard Patterson, and my roles on the Sticks and Stone Final Project team were level developer, level designer, and UI designer. As a level developer, my role was to assist Matt with any lines of code needed to work in our game. In the early stages of the game, I got the basic elements and movement for our enemy AI down, while Matt expanded upon these scripts to what they are today. I also did quite a bit of research regarding different approaches to use when it came to AI and custom Kismet configurations to work in our game. As a level designer, I stepped in this role while doing other things with level was quite a task. Here I was responsible for making sure that the mechanics and actual objects and meshes placed in our game actually did what they were supposed to do. In this role, a lot of time was spent playtesting and ensuring that Snowball and all elements within the game worked as designed, as well as added and or removed any objects to enhance gameplay. As a UI designer, this was one of the toughest roles to fill, as it took a lot of research and allowed me to become the quote-unquote jack of all trades, so to speak. Throughout the life cycle of our game, one thing that needed to be done was some type of main menu system that contained a play button, fully functional option menu, as well as an exit button, basically the health bar in the game. What went right? One thing that went right during this project was how much knowledge and experience each of us brought to the table. Most projects you would think that there is a knowledge gap, but for this project, we all were able to pick a role and do it quite well. With the amount of knowledge and determination each one of the teammates and myself brought to the table, we were bound to do a fantastic job, and our work shows for itself. What went wrong? I think the only thing that went wrong was the underestimation of how much time we had to actually implement all the things we wanted in the game. We were able to get a stride going and keep it going.
Hi, my name is Matt Mangold, and my role on Team Sticks and Stones was lead developer. As lead developer, my significant contributions all revolved around implementing mechanics and features in Unreal Script for our game. I was ultimately responsible for the functionality of all gameplay elements that required new code to be written. I wrote the bulk of our artificial intelligence and implemented a fairly varied collection of baddies that performed an assortment of different activities, including chasing Snowball, running from Snowball, flying towards Snowball, shooting at Snowball, diving into lava, and starting fires. Once I had written each piece of AI, I placed them strategically around our completed levels. I wrote custom Kismet sequence actions to configure each AI with respect to its environment, and hooked it all up within our levels. Each of our bosses required quite a bit of configuration on the Kismet side to get them to work properly, and all that configuration required some custom scripting. I also implemented all of the mechanics that define our game. I wrote scripts that made Snowball double jump, throw his snowballs, slide around on frozen surfaces, float on steam, and absorb frozen enemies. I also wrote the code responsible for freezing enemies, creating steam with snowballs thrown into lava pits, and various other functions like our mounted dragon heads that shoot fireballs, and our timer and melting mechanics. As far as what went right during the project, as a team, I thought we were very flexible when it came to activities. Because of the massive amount of varied tasks required to get the game off the ground, every team member had to be flexible enough to tackle any challenge at any time. We worked in Unreal Script, we worked in Kismet, we used the matinee system, we made our own sounds and music, did a lot of our own modeling and animation, we did level construction, texturing, and all kinds of just very small but important other tasks. What went right was our ability as a team to quickly learn how to do all of those and do it quickly. As far as what went wrong, I felt we didn't do nearly enough testing. We underestimated the time requirement that was needed to adequately test our creation. With every new level, we added hours of testing, but we were never able to find enough time to dedicate to it. Try as we might, after every release, the staff informed us of bugs that we didn't know existed. We constantly implemented new functionality improvements to existing functionality at the very last minute. We would have benefited from a planned and deliberate testing strategy so that we might have caught bugs before shipping to the staff.
Overall, this project not only gave us a great experience in creating and producing a game, but it also taught us a lot about ourselves and the teamwork needed to make this project a success. This concludes the end of our presentation. We are now open to answering any questions you may have. Thank you.